It was wonderful to be a part of, and largely why I wanted to be a part of it. You know, I'd seen the short that Shane had done, and it's not often that you get approached about a film or read a script and get to see essentially a snippet of what the film will be. So watching that short, I was so blown away by these characters and so intrigued by them. You know, the notion of these rag dolls, essentially these mechanized rag dolls, that are the creatures that you follow throughout the story. So I was so intrigued and blown away by the animation style and these creatures that he's created that I wanted to be a part of that world and to see where it would go, and to excited about the context that we would be given in regards to the history and the backstory, and the journey that these characters would go on. And I loved the character of Nine. I loved how he kind of becomes, he's sort of like the audience in a way. He comes in very curious. He awakens after a number of them have already been alive for a time period that we don't know of. And they've already established a sort of community. And he comes in with all these questions about who he is, who they are, what the machines are, and it kind of throws a wrench in their system. And I like the journey that he goes on as he sort of starts to take a little bit more control and investigate and see that there are massive holes in the way that they've been operating and that there are answers that they need to get to. Because you're actually in an environment, you are physically acting, but there's nothing around you. And, you know, for that, I was lucky enough to actually work with, it was a stunt double. I didn't actually work with Mickey Rourke, which is kind of extraordinary. But I did work with someone physically, and then there were also things that I was reacting to that weren't there. So that, in some ways, is more challenging or more strange. Whereas when you're in a studio recording your voice, it is singularly about the voice, and I really enjoy that. I think the process is very interesting, and you know, you are kind of unhindered about the physical, and you're not having to worry about all of those exterior elements. You're only worried about how to emote and bring the character to life vocally. I think I was surprised at how scary the film is. I was really impressed with the action sequences. I think I'd only seen one fully play itself out before I'd seen the movie for the first time. I was surprised at how truly exciting the film is, and also how scary some of the beasts are, you know. Particularly the sequence with the seamstress. I find the seamstress to be one of the more creepy creatures within the film. But it's a wonderful story. You know, it's a fantastic world that you go to, and I actually think one of my favorite sequences in the film is there's a great sort of contextual flashback that takes you back to the scientist creating the machine for the first time, and the story of that machine and how it's appropriated. It's initially made for peace, it's appropriated for war, and then it turns on man. And that whole backstory, I think, is really interesting and beautifully done.